hello, hello. It's coffee time. Water. The thing with the kids going back to school is they bring back the lurgy. I have said lurgy. Sympathy. I need sympathy. So, but we're gonna plough on through to the other side. Race on through. Is it right? What's the dot? Race on through to. We're going to do that. We're going to do a Jim Morrison. And we're going to the Daily Mail website because it's what we do when it's coffee time. Top story: Bank of England holds interest rates at 5.25%. This is good. This is good news. This is good news. Not for us because we fixed our mortgage for 5 years and an extra 140 quid a month. Thanks, Liz Truss and Crazy Kwarteng for that. But anyway, the Bank of England was expected to increase rates, but today it decided not to. And this is the first time in 15 meetings. Sorry, sore throat. So yeah, it's still high. The interest rates are still at the 15-year high. But inflation is beginning to cool, they reckon. And so we've got some lovely infograms, because that's what we want. We want pictures. We want pretty pictures. Whoops, not quite fit it on the screen there. There we go. And that's the interest rates going up. That's pretty cool, that, isn't it? Isn't that pretty cool? We had a good run. We had a good run of low interest rates. And look, this is inflation going down. There we go. So maybe Dishy Rishi is going to steer the economy back. I don't know. Boom and bust economics. That's what we always get. This is an interesting one. I heard this on the radio this morning. Apparently, a new report says that parents no longer believe that children need to be in school full time. Yeah, and this, they reckon, is the result of the COVID lockdowns. Yeah, there's been a shift in parents' attitudes in the school attendance, according to the consultancy Public First. And they say now it's socially acceptable to keep pupils at home and go on holiday in term time, because thanks to COVID and the lockdowns, parents think that, life's too short. Now, again, term time holiday, back in the day, when my grandparents went on holiday and they took me with them, they used to go in term time. And yeah, I had to write a slip out and tell them where I was going, but it wasn't a big deal. And you know what? I never missed anything, because it was last week in June, first week in July, that they always used to go away. And I didn't go with them all the time, but the few years I did go with them, that's when I used to go. So didn't do me any harm. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sitting here doing this. Oh, maybe it was my grandparents taking me on holiday that ruined my entire life. I hadn't considered that. But yeah, they reckon the research suggests that pandemic closures and teacher strikes have damaged the social contract. There's a social contract, did you not know? With 24,700 children missing education on one sample day in spring this year. So yeah, it's a real thing. It's a thing, and parents are thinking, it's not that important. Maybe it isn't. Maybe they're the right ones. Meanwhile, you might have wanted to keep your kids off school today, because we're going to the Clavering, south of Cambridge, where Essex police were called to Clatterbury Lane. What a great name, Clatterbury Lane. Sounds like a song The Move may have recorded back in the 60s. We've been down to Clatterbury Lane. Imagine that, yeah. No one's going to get that reference. Anyway, what happened? Well, the school bus was going down the lane when it went under a low bridge. I don't know, was it a low bridge? I don't know. But it ripped whatever happened, ripped the roof off Oh my God, this is at a map at 8:15 this morning. This is said south of Cambridge. Did he hear a bridge? I'm not sure. It was a tree branch, apparently. It was a tree branch that had taken the roof off. A tree branch did that? My goodness. Yeah, basically a car and a bus had been in collision and then collided with the tree branch, which caused damage to the roof. But luckily, there was no fatalities, but 2 children were rushed to hospital. And 3 children were assessed at the scene. So, injuries believed to be minor, and no serious injuries have been reported so far. So there you go. So yeah, that's why they're not sending the kids to school. What else have we got? Meanwhile, Channel 4 boss Alex Mahon, is it Mahon? Mahon? Mahone or Mahon? Mahon or Mahone? Anyway, here she is. And she said that Gen Z youngsters are basically awful. They're disgusting creatures because they don't have the skills to work along people with different views and have no skills to debate. Yeah, because they've been brought up by a certain raft of teachers who have taught them to just shut down debate and not to talk to people, you know, because that's not how you get on in this world. You have to talk to all sorts of people and get on with all sorts of people. And what we've done with that generation, and I think they're called Generation Alphas now. Oh, it's confusing. Is we're creating more and more young people who have very closed off views. They're very, blinkered in their outlook in life. And that's not good. It's supposed to be open to ideas and not shutting people down. But yeah, she said the phenomenon which is seen in the which is being seen in the workplace was the dangerous step change. She said the time. She reckons that because of mistiming colleges, they've meant they've been not exposed to many people with a difference of opinion. I don't think it's that. I think it's that they've been taught to shut down debate, and that. But yeah, so this is when she was talking to the Royal Television Society in Cambridge convention. She said, what we're seeing with young people who come to the workplace, particularly post-pandemic, with this concentration of short-form content, short video services like TikTok and YouTube, they haven't got the skills to debate things. That's not where it's come from. It's that whole culture of shutting things down, and you've seen it with the various social movements there've been. There's the BLM, there's the TRAs. None of them are willing to, debate their corner. It's like, if you don't agree with us, we're cancelling you. And that's where it's come from. She went on to say they haven't got the skills to discuss, they haven't got the skills to disagree and commit because they've not been raised, particularly being out of colleges, to having those kind of debates, to get to the point where you've got people with a difference of opinion to you and you're happy to work alongside that. And that is really dangerous, a step change in my view that we're seeing. Well, you might see more of that. And she said these youngsters are, Channel 4, carried out research last year that showed that youngsters are less tolerant than their parents or grandparents. Yeah. And again, it all comes out of the schools. This is what we're raising our kids to be like, and it's not good. And you're going to see swings to the left and right and back again. It's not good for anybody. Wait a minute, we do have some dog action. Whoops, the camera's... What's happened to the camera? The camera's moved and it's zoomed in. Oh, that's some pretty good dog cam. Like slightly out of focus. There you go. Sort of blurry dog cam. Bit of a Dutch angle going on there. Yeah. Or is she licking the leg? or licking the sofa. We can't tell. Nobody knows. Hurricane Nigel set to batter the UK this weekend, and the Met Office has warned us that, yeah. Meanwhile, man, this is fantastic. This is the Portuguese president, right? He was. This is Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa. He's in Toronto, in Canada. He's on an official visit. And the 74-year-old was greeted by an excitable residents as he strolled around the city. And he met two residents, both called Maria. And he said, "Well, I'm going to let the clip play, and you can think, whoops, what are you doing?" Here we go. Both their names, Maria. Yeah, so they've accused him of sexism because he remarked how pretty they were and the cleavage. So I don't know. I don't know. Is that sexist? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But he's launched a staunch defence of his words. He's not faltering. He's not faltering. There we go. So yeah. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Rishi, he's insisting that the UK can still hit green targets. Because he rolled them all back yesterday. He rolled them all back because they can't. We don't have the infrastructure to take on electric cars and all that stuff. And for some reason, he's on a farm. He's a load of sheep. What's going on there? Maybe that's the electorate he's with. A little bit of politics there for you. A little bit of politics. I can't see it myself. What else? Meanwhile, Labour have insisted it will reinstate the 2030 ban on new petrol and diesel cars. Of course they will. Yeah. Don't know if we can do that one. Oh, this is good. Bob Ross news. Now, if you're like me, you love Bob Ross. Who's Bob Ross? Bob Ross is he's the curly-headed painter, hair painter that we used to see on. Well, he first saw him on Channel 4 back in the day, back in the late 80s, early 90s. Joy of Painting, and he does well. He unfortunately passed on in the early mid 90s, but he lives on via his art and his wonderful programs, which they started showing again during the lockdown, because very relaxing. Yeah, he shows you how to paint landscapes, and just a great piece of TV. Very calming. But yeah, his first ever TV painting, called A Walk in the Woods, has been sold at auction in Minneapolis, and here is said painting. And it's unusual because the Bob Ross estate are very protective of his artwork, and they very rarely come on the market. And this sold for $9.8 million to an unknown buyer. And like I said, that is really remarkable because they're very protective. Yeah. Very protective of his art. Yeah, it was the first of more than 400 paintings that he created, which he painted in just 30 minutes, because that's how long the program is. He just is just amazing stuff, you know. So there you go. But yeah, the owner of the gallery, Ryan Nelson, said the painting was acquired from a lady who worked on the show and decided to buy it after the episode was taped. Again, very unusual and quite remarkable to actually to get hold of. Thing. And here's the signature. So you know it's a genuine Bob Ross. There you go. There is a hidden warehouse in America that contains all the paintings that he did, and they're all, it's all atmospherically controlled. The temperature is kept at a certain temperature, so preserved and never ever for sale. So yeah, fantastic. But yeah, it's a shame. Shame he passed so soon because he was a good guy. Can't cover that story. There's a terrible story going on in Poland at the moment. Like I say, I'm just going to say it's a Fritzl type story. That's all you need to know. But go to the Daily Mail website. If I cover it, I'm just going to probably get demonetised forever, I think. Yeah, it's pretty grim. What else have we got? Meanwhile, we're going to Bean Primary School. The jokes write themselves. A furious mother, right, has been driving to the primary school every day to deliver food after the school banned packed lunches. Yeah, Bean Primary School has banned packed lunches for children in Year 1 and reception due to the need to guarantee a certain number of cooked dinners from the meal provider. And again, parents are outraged by this implementation, saying it strips their children of the choice between a packed lunch or hot dinner. Now our kids had a packed lunch. One could be a bit picky with his food when he was young, so if he knew what was in his lunchbox, he ate it, because my son's on the autistic spectrum. And also they had a hot dinner of an evening, so he didn't really want to have 2 hot dinners a day. So I wouldn't have been too happy about that. And so yeah, they've actually banned packed lunches. So this poor mother is just, gets driving to the school gates to deliver sandwich through the railings. Meanwhile, some parents, whilst are outraged by the implementation of this policy, they bemoan the quality of the lunches, citing meals such as onion bhaji and chips. And this is in the village of Bean in Kent. But the head teacher has defended the lunches, saying they're of fine quality. And this is Faye Armitage, who's lactose intolerant 4-year-old, is in reception and is vehemently opposed to new policy. And again, if you've got a child with a eating disorder, then make it harder for you. Meanwhile, this is billed as the world's worst playground. Really, in the entire world, that's a big claim, Daily Mail. This is a fenced-off area at Ashton Rise Estate near Market Harborough in Leicestershire, right? And it looks pretty grim. I mean, this is it. Some have compared it to an art installation. It could be an early Tracy Emin, couldn't it? That's it. That's all you get in some logs and a seat. It's only when you see it from outside that you see truly how miserable it is. I don't think it's the worst play area. Probably the most depressing play area. I like the red gate though. I like that. That really kind of sets it off, doesn't it? And I think they call it a feature gate, don't they? So yeah. But remember, no dogs, no smoking, no cycling, no blacks, no Irish. Isn't that the old saying? Isn't it? I don't. Could you cycle in that? You'd need a run up, wouldn't you? I suppose you could go and do laps. You could do laps. But yeah, apparently that is the world's worst playground, and it cost. Was it? Oh no! It's built near it's a new build where houses sell for £600,000. So you'd think that they'd put a few slides, swing, maybe around one of those roundabouty things. Do you remember in the old days when everyone used to get on, and one or two of you'd spin everyone around until you all fell off? Do you remember that? I remember doing that. It was the good old days. Metal slides as well, but they'd be so hot in the summer that you burn your ass going down. Yeah. Oh, we've got some more Russell Brand news. It's trundling on. Apparently, Rumble. Maybe I should go on Rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. He's still letting him monetize his videos over there because he got demonetized on YouTube. And Katy Perry's alarming nickname for Brand has been revealed. Yes, she used to call him Rasputin because he was a bit of a control freak. Yeah. So there you go. What else have we got? Meanwhile, social media news, Facebook has changed its logo. Yeah. Should we see? Right, can anyone now you got to look at the old logo. So you move left to right quickly. Can you tell the difference? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Can you tell the difference? One's a little bit more bluer than the other. I bet it cost them millions to do. Millions. There you go. This is top quality content. What else have we got? There's no court news. No really good court news today. This one. Here's some cool news where they describe the defendant as a devious little sod. Yeah, a wealthy couple is locked in a bitter court battle with their own nephew, which they call a devious little sod because they reckon he's stolen their £4 million Kensington Mews home. King Su Huang, backed by her husband Michael Lee, is suing Cheng Chen-ku over claims that despite the home being bought in their very close nephew's name, she was always the rightful owner. Again, they've done that. It's a bit of a tax dodge, isn't it? It's a bit of a tax dodge. Here we go. This is the house. Very nice. Very nice. It's on Millionaires Row. It's very nice. Very nice. Where's that? Is that in Kensington, is it? Where is that? Yeah, Kensington Mews. Very nice. Very nice. They snapped up their dream 3-bedroom Mews home in 2004, becoming neighbours to Chariots of Fire producer and cinema legend Lord David Putnam. But yeah, so they bought the place and obviously signed over into his name. Tax dodge. And here is the devious little sod himself. There you go. You devious little sod. That's how he's ever going to be known as. Mr. Lee said he's trying to steal our house because he's turned out to be a devious little sod. I'm going to keep saying it. And that's why we're in court, he said from the witness box. Businessman Mr. Lee made his fortune through an Essex-based electronic company. And it was always his dream to own a home like that. And meanwhile, Mr. Cheng became the registered owner, coming and going as he pleased with his own set of keys, with both him and his aunt and uncle having a room there. You know, so it's going to be one of those wisdom of Solomon things. So, but yeah, the case is continuing, and with the judge expecting to reserve ruling to a later date. And yeah, the property was originally bought for £1.5 million. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that one. See how that's going. Let's see if the devious little sod wins or loses. Will it? No, don't know. Could be a close one, that. More about dog attacks. What else is there? Not a lot. There's not many funnies today, unfortunately. Not many funnies. Oh, meanwhile, we've been talking about this, about the migration in the EU. Meanwhile, again, I don't know if this is a real thing, if there are any Germans watching, but apparently Germany has hit the limit of the number of migrants the country can take. What? Big old Germany? Do you know how big Germany is compared to the UK? This is Frank Walter Steinmeier. He's the country's president. He said that the fact that a third of all migrants who reached the EU in the first 6 months of this year went through Germany first means the nation, like Italy, is at the limits of its capability. And his warning comes 7 years after Steinmeier calls for open borders in a move that saw millions of people enter Germany in 2015 and 2016. The open border policy, it's, Steinmeier, who's on a 3-day visit to Italy, is now U-turned and insisted there needs to be stronger controls at the borders and a fair distribution of migrants in Europe. Here is Steinmeier himself. So, it's what we've been saying for a long time. It's great to live in a utopia, but when things go wrong, then... And this is because there's a lot of migrants in that Italian island, Lampedusa. 8,500 turned up last week in 3 days. Wowzers. 130,000 people have landed on Italian shores since the start of the year. Right? And that's up almost double from the same period last year. So, yeah. Oh, I found got an animal story. Excellent. There've been a few of those. There've not been so many stories these days. In fact, there's another one. Thank you. I'm going to have to do that now. Meanwhile, literary news. There's a new collection of Winnie the Pooh called Winnie the Pooh Tales from the Forest. Right? Author Jane Riordan was inspired to introduce a new character. Yeah. There's a new character called Carmen, which is based on A.A. Milne's toy dog. And Carmen actually went with Milne to the trenches when he served in World War One. Yeah. And here is Carmen the dog meeting Christopher Robin. So there you go. A new character. Ah. And here they are with Rabbit and Piglet. Ah. It's good, isn't it? I'm glad they keep it. I didn't even know they were keeping Winnie the Pooh alive with new stories. So there you go, Tales from the Forest. That's out now. And that's we've got 7 new stories to read and a new character. Any more for any more? How long have I done? I think I've done almost enough. Mind you, I did put something in the funny folder. Yeah, if you think you're having a bad time with the weather, this is a beachside bar in South Africa. This is the Mariners Bar, right? And it's in Marina Beach in KwaZulu Natal State. And I'm just going to see if there's an advert. Yes, there is. ITVX advertising Love and Death. There we go. And it's a 30-second advert on a 30-second video. So we're just waiting for this to pass. It's just nearly done. They're advertising their own show. You can watch this. It looks kind of good. I might have to tune into that myself. Yes. But anyway, there was at this bar. I mean, suddenly the tide came in, and boy did it come in. Yeah. Quite intense. Such was the tide that it actually washed people out into sea. Look at that. It was on them within no time at all. Look at that. So yeah, quite scary. Yeah, the strong current pulled 7 terrified patrons out to sea. Yeah, this was Sunday week. The customers had started watching South Africa play Romania in the Rugby World Cup when the wave hit, and one person was seen being dragged out to sea on the video. So yeah, not good, not good. But apparently 2 lifeguards sprinted from the far right of the beach and plucked a child who was washed out, but no fatalities were reported. So yeah. So anyway, summer's over, but we've got some pictures of pets escaping the heat. Yeah, the Daily Mail they stole it from Boar Panda, and I'm stealing it from them. So you know, what goes around comes around. One hand washes the other. He's keeping cool. Seems a bit out of time now. Oh, that's one way of keeping cool. It's always the real thing. He's having a lolly. Fan. He's got an ice cube in the sink. He's a lucky boy to fit in there. Now there's a wise one. Luckily, Layla wasn't too. Can I do that? Is it like? There we go. She's look fast asleep. Ah, she didn't mind the fan in the summer. Oh, look at him! How do you get in there? And he's just collapsed. I think there's a couple of dogs. Look, there's 2 or 3 dogs. Apparently, this is in Turkey. The shop owner. Oops, it would be an idea if I put the window up. Should we go back again? I missed a couple. Wait a minute. How do you get in there? So we're going. We did the fan. How do you get in there? And in Turkey, all the stray dogs go in the shop so they can get the air conditioning. Husky in the fridge. And that's that. That was good, wasn't it? That was a little diversion. Meanwhile, we're going off the coast of France. This is fishmongers at Le Vive de Nomontier. Montier. Oh, God. It's been a long day. Let me have a sip of water. Found an unusual crustacean. Yes, the fishermen found a rare blue lobster off the Ile d'Eu commune, which is off the west coast of France. And they reckon this is a 1 in a 2 million lobster. And there is video of it, but there's an awful advert, which it won't let me show the video. It's rubbish. Here we go. Here he is. Look at this blue lobster. Look. Look at that. He's bright blue. Don't worry, we do have some pictures. This is what he looks like. Wow. And I reckon it's the result of a rare genetic mutation that's caused him to be this colour. But don't worry, he's been saved from the pot. They're not going to eat him, and they're not going to sell him. So and they've called him Blue. So there you go. Saved from the pot, and I think we'll end it there. 7 people in. Andrew's in. He says hello. Yep, it's always coffee time. And yes, you've got some dog cat. Hetty's in, and she likes Layla. And Cole says the dog in the fridge is so cute. They all are. How does he fit in there? And also, more importantly, how do you get him out again? Yeah. Lure him out with a sausage, I would imagine that would work. Anyway, thank you. That was coffee time. That was the news. Killing the channel 1 video at a time. you know you have to drink it up. Cheers.